when I turned 24, I decided to go vegan, and that instantly kind of like shifted kind of a lot of different things. Like that year, I was all-star.
Peace, bro. Good
Yes,
to
sir.
see you again. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
I'm just happy to be able to sit across from you so we can have a dialogue. This is not a new dialogue. We have dialogues all the time, but I think it was time that we brought the people in on the conversations that we be having. First thing I want to do is acknowledge your work ethic, the amount of tenacity, diligence that you put forth every single day. It shows not just on the court, but off the court, helping the youth, helping the community, and just the endless ideas that you seem to manifest so effortlessly. I definitely want to make sure that I acknowledge the entire team that you're part of. And I'm speaking of the Boston Celtics because there's no I in team.
Yes, sir.
I know y'all have been doing amazing work this season and continue to push forward. But that let's just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and dive in, right?
Yes, sir.
Question that I think would start this off right would be the number that you have on your jersey.
Okay.
I think that'll get it started. So why the number 7?
You know why.
I don't do it like
I
that.
was just like, I think that number is just one. We know that's like the sacred number. It's the symbol of the divine. But that number has just always stood out to me in my life. Like growing up, I used to always have number 7. And what's kind of funny when I look back at like old pictures, photography stuff that my mom would take, and even currently, like the number 7 follows me.
Wow.
Like
So it was there.
It's always there, and I've always looked at it like, sometimes I didn't notice it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't always there, where it's like somebody will come up to you and like say you'll need directions, and you'll see like they got a tattoo of a 7 on their arm, or you'll be having a crazy thought, and then an ambulance will go by, it'll be a number 7 ambulance, or it'll be 7 cars in the parking lot. Just the number 7 is always just follow me in some degree. So a part of it is like the number 7 is just ingrained in me. It's
divine number, godly number.
Yeah.
We know we got the 7 notes. We got 7 chakras. 7 just follows the 7 planets. Everywhere we look, when it comes to expressing ourselves, when we look at the foundation, there's always this number 7. So I guess you're a holy foundation as well.
Yeah, and when I got to Boston, they didn't have the number 7 available. Right?
That's interesting.
So at first I was number 9. A lot of original Celtics fans might know that.
Okay.
But a lot of people remember that I was number 9 at first. Because number 7 was taken. I think it was who was it? I think it was Jared Sullinger or somebody had number 7 before me.
Okay.
And they told me it wasn't available. And what's crazy is when growing up, I had this list where my mom, she made me like write down everything that I wanted to do, like when I was probably like 11 or 12 years old. And I wrote down everything that I wanted, just crazy things that at the time it was like, I wanted to get recruited by these universities. I wanted to be the number 1 player in high school. I wanted to be, on ESPN. Like I wrote down a bunch of stuff like that, but I also said I wanted to wear number 7 in the NBA. And lo and behold, I get to Boston, number 7's not available. And then right away, they just kick somebody out just to
Well, you asked for the whole package, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everything else that you asked for, you threw the 7 in there, so you had to get that too.
It was, it was a part of the plan, so whoever had it before me, I apologize, but it just ended up working out like that.
It was God's work. It was God's work. All right, so in the age of distraction, because, you just talked about something real deep, when you were younger, you sat down, you wrote down exactly what you wanted. And now in hindsight, all these things have manifested based on what you specifically wrote down. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to have that type of focus if you're distracted. And we know we're in an age of distraction, right?
Sure, big time.
My man Black Dot called it weapons of mass distraction. That's what he coined back in the day. In the age of distraction, how do you quiet your storm? How do you exercise your mind?
Having a relationship with nature is first and foremost being able to go out, get sunlight, like stuff that I learned from my teachers, kind of grounding yourself, outside, having that relationship with, kind of like the Mother Earth can help you get the clarity and stuff like that you need. Because there's so much distractions going on, so much technology, so much energy that's given off in different directions. Sometimes it's hard to get a clear signal. But anytime I've ever gone out in nature, like that signal has always been the clearest, right? And we learned that from like trees being like natural, just signal blockers.
Right.
They block out the rest of all the noise so you can hear what you really need to hear. So
exactly.
Having that relationship with nature has been paramount. Being able to, go out, go hiking, go out into even into your front yard or your backyard, or just like we used to live in Boston. It's like they call it a green state, similar to Georgia.
Right.
Georgia's a green state too,
yes,
right?
it is, definitely.
And it's just forest everywhere. Where we used to live before I just moved, we had just a forest behind the house. So me and the guys will be out, going walking the trail in the forest. We'll be out just trying to connect to nature because it just seemed like your thoughts are a little bit clearer.
And it's interesting because as strong as phone signals are, anytime you get around a lot of nature, trees, mountains, rocks, so forth and so on, you don't have no signal.
None. Yeah.
Call gets chopped up. So that's just to reinforce your point of an unwavering, strong signal that nature has. It's the signal.
Exactly.
The most consistent signal.
Authentic.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Which we all got to definitely take our time to get back in. So we're talking about nature. We're talking about signals. And, in order for us to tap into the signal as us being a form of antenna, one of the best ways to do that is through fasting.
Yes.
People ask me all the time, KT, what do I do for this, that, and the third? The go-to is always get out in the sun. You know that, right? However, one of the main things that are most effective is not what you do, but what you don't do. So you stop eating. Give your body a chance to kind of restart itself. So I know that right now you're fasting.
Yes, sir.
So how has observing Ramadan contributed to your overall well-being and athletic performance?
Just like you said, one, giving your body a chance to, you spend so much time focusing on like digesting and breaking down stuff. When there's nothing in your system, your body can use that energy to go through so many different things, like to heal yourself, to make yourself, have a little bit more clarity, or just your body starts to function in different ways when you have the energy to do so. But also, most importantly is to have like a connection with the Creator, the Most High. And I think that's what the month is essentially about, using the alignment of the moon, the alignment of the planet in order to connect to that ultimate frequency.
Yeah, because we're receivers, and all of these cosmic bodies are constantly providing us with messages. Same way squirrels, birds, other animals are tapping into things, and they know what to do. We also know what to do, but that's only if we do connect with that signal you were speaking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. And that how it's helped me in my craft is that like it also pushes and challenges when you challenge your body by fasting and challenge your spirit, you also challenge, your mental as well. Like it's your ability now to persevere, your ability now to remain calm in adverse situations. You know, I think fasting has helped me in that. It's increased my mental health. And I've said it before, in a lot of ways, it's really saved my life. You know, we go through trauma. We all have issues and things that we deal with on this planet that has an effect on us because we're humans. And the state of your mind, the state of your well-being can determine how you go forward from those moments.
Yes.
And being able to have strong mental health, being able to be able to endure life's challenges is like, you know, a great skill set. And I think fasting has helped me in that regard, developing that, so that now when you reach these moments of adversity, these moments of anxiety, of angst, depression, that you're able to persevere because you've practiced it. You know, if your body can go without water and food, your body can go without a lot of these other things, distractions, stress, and whatever's causing you depression, you know, whatever's causing your lack of mental health.
Wow. So it offers a discipline.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It offers a discipline that you can apply in all areas of your life so that no matter what adversity you come across, you can overcome, persevere.
Yeah, and it's an active practice, right? Because like it's something that it's like a delicate dance. You know, like some days are gonna be better than others. Some moments you're gonna be stronger. Some moments you might feel a little bit weak. But if you have things that you work at, you practice for, that builds your mental strength.
That's right.
You can be able to, you know, overcome when that adversity hit, because it's gonna happen. It happens for all of us. Like, you know, everybody on this planet, no matter if you're red, blue, orange, or green, you're going to deal with adversity. That's just how the Creator has set it up. And it's not even just us. It's like all living organisms. Like plants struggle to get sunlight.
Yes, they do. They
You
be
know.
fighting. They be fighting.
And you know that more than anybody.
Yeah, for sure. They be fighting.
So the more you get comfortable and understand that this is what's going to go down, you know, the more you can prepare for your victory and being able to get to the next stage in life, you know, rather than just being stuck on that playing field that, you know what I'm saying.
So we should all fast a little bit more.
Yeah, to whatever degree you feel comfortable with, but actively challenge yourself, because that's where growth happens, not from comfort. Yeah, growth happens from, you know, challenges in some form. Whether you've been embarrassed, whether you lose, whether you come up short, or whether you intentionally challenge yourself on purpose, or confrontation, whatever you want to call it. Those are the moments where, in my life, really everybody's life, where you start to be like, okay, here's where the growth was indicated from.
That's powerful right there. All right, so you would think that, especially in your profession, where energy is so demanding, stamina, endurance is so demanding, it's like, I'm going to not eat. Like, you know what I'm saying? How am I going to get the work done then if I'm not doing what I was taught in school? It's like, yo, this is the gas. I'm putting the gas in the body. It's fueling me up, you know? But now I'm not putting any gas in. But the interesting thing is, when you get into fasting, what happens is you start to tap into your true energy, because it's not the muscle that starts getting eaten up. You know, it's the waste that starts to get eaten up. Your nerve starts getting sharper. You go into a state called autophagy, which is a fancy word of saying eating your own trash up. Normally, you wouldn't even be purging this stuff out. It would just stay in certain areas of your body and in your tissues.
And you actually could feel that too. Like, you could feel it when it's doing that.
Start coming out, right?
It's crazy.
And you might even go through something called a H.X.R.U reaction, where you might get a little cold or something like that. And that's because all that waste starts coming out the body, but it has to go through the blood and you're reacting from it. But essentially what it does is it it cleans your muscles, it cleans your organs, it cleans your nerves, and then you tap into the water of your body, which is the main source of energy. You have endless amounts of power in the water. And once that water gets split and you start accessing that, now you hit that flow state, you know, and you become stronger than you would have been if you was eating a bunch of food. You know?
And you feel that too. You 100% feel that. And I love the way you broke that down, because that gives, like, I could feel certain points where I fasted over the years in my body where I felt exactly what you talked about. What was the word that started with an A?
Autophagy.
Yeah.
Autophagy. Auto means like automatic, like self, right? And then phagy means to eat.
For sure.
So it means to eat self.
Especially like in the first 4 days or so when you start fasting and when Ramadan starts, you could feel like when you get towards the end of the day, like you feel almost like that sensation where it feels like what you're talking about, like something is being squeezed or
out of you, right?
You know what I mean? And it almost makes you feel like you are dehydrated, or your body is kind of enticing, like, I don't know the word, but like kind of inclusing on itself. But I could feel that exactly what you're saying. But definitely something that has been active in my lifestyle. I mean, fasting for
right. And it makes the herbs, superfoods, and things like that way more effective at that point, because normally, people are living a certain lifestyle and they eat these things and they do a good job for them. But when your body is more attuned and it's more sensitive, it benefits you greater. So, I know people that go on fast and they do the honey, they do the nectar, along with water. Some people just do sea moss, they'll do the sea moss gel that helps them out. And sea moss is stem cells. So you're constantly helping your body replace, because that's part of it. You pushing all the old, dirty, nasty cells out, but you're replacing it with all of these new cells. Now, if you give your body a foundation of stem cells and new cells to build from, then it just makes the process even more efficient, But yeah, man. So this would be a form of unconventional training, because most people who train, you know what I'm saying, they loading up the protein, you know what I'm saying, they working out till they pass out. So I've seen you doing intense unconventional training. How has that played a role in your performance, and does it help with your breathing?
Absolutely. I think the thing that I picked up the last couple years is working out in the pool. And I really think that has been like the...
Elaborate on that. You talking about swimming? I don't think you're talking about swimming in the pool or being on little donuts floating around in the pool. You saying...
Swimming in itself is such an effective workout, just how your body forms to it. And I just think, like, just naturally, even though, like, we say that we're not, like, as Black people, like, we're not people of the water, but it's like the total opposite throughout history, right?
Yes.
So the more I've been embedding myself in water, the more I've seen my body transform. In the last couple years, I've just seen, I've gotten more athletic, I've gotten faster, I've gotten bigger and stronger. And I credit it a lot to improving my relationship with the water. It's been, and it sounds crazy because, like, some of the stuff I have done is a little bit crazy, like almost like some Navy SEAL type of stuff.
Example.
Yeah, like jumping in the pool with like a 100-pound weight vest on.
100-pound weight vest under the water.
Maybe not 100, maybe like 50 under
50
the water.
50 pound under the water.
And swimming from one side to the other. 10-foot, 11-foot deep pool.
Okay.
Doing that, then going down, picking up a weight, bringing it back to the top. Like, yeah, some, stuff that you learn from that type of stuff. But how it's affected my breathing is, like, the number one thing is, like, and this is kind of like life, right? So, like, when you are going through some of that adversity and you feel like you're about to drown, and sometimes that is that feeling that that comes out where it's like you get that. What you learn is that in the water you have actually more time than you think, right? So when you feel like you're about to drown, don't panic, because what'll happen? You'll drown even faster.
Yeah, because your heart
more.
rate goes up.
You waste more energy.
Yeah.
Now you don't have energy to actually get back to the top. So what you learn in the water is actually to relax when you feel like you're about to drown, because you want to save as much energy as you possibly can. And through that, you learn that you have more time than you actually think, right? So when you feel it, get comfortable with that feeling. And that's like getting comfortable with like adversity. And I've started to see the correlations between, some of my off-season training and life, like, getting comfortable with that feeling like you are about to drown. It sounds a little bit bizarre.
No, I mean, that doesn't just apply to a pool. You feel like that in life. Things can become extremely overwhelming. They call it anxiety. Anxiety is like a psychological drowning based on too many things happening at once that you really can't organize or get through. So you can take that same principle that you're learning in the pool and just apply it in everyday life, where it's like, look, slow down. People get in car accidents. That's like the first thing that everybody always says is they're like, yo, everything slowed down. I like saw the car turn and the glass pieces was floating in front of me. And we are able to manipulate time more than we know. And we have to put ourselves in certain situations to tap into that.
Exactly.
Which you're doing.
Precisely. Another thing I've been doing that I've been exploring the past year is Muay Thai, and that's martial arts, active combat, and, learning to manipulate your breathing in every strike. It's not like you can throw a punch or you can throw a kick or a knee or an elbow, but if you don't breathe, you don't have no power behind it.
Exactly.
That's where it comes from. So learning how to effectively use your breath and channel it through your body and deliver a strike and deliver a blow. And I look at that as a correlation to life as well. Like sometimes before you do anything, before you build anything, before you create anything or establish anything, you need to breathe and kind of let it flow and be an extension of you. And that creates the authenticity for something to last, that can last longer than something that you're just trying to get rich quick off of or whatever. So breathing is such a essential of life that we kind of overlook its capacity and what we could actually learn from it, because we just but half the people that are kind of watching and listening can improve their breathing by 50%. They just actively do some research and work on some certain practices, and that'll improve their overall well-being of life as well.
So we were just talking about fasting a moment ago. So we can fast off food. We can fast on water too for a little bit. We fasting off breath?
Nah.
That lets us know what's really important then in life, right?
Exactly.
Is the fact that we all need to breathe. That's Dice's favorite saying is
just
how
breathe.
How you breathing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Take your breath, you know what I mean? Because the minute you get upset, the minute you get anxious, the minute you losing control or you panicking, that breath is going to go quicker. And the science of that is real simple. It's like you're using more oxygen. If you're using oxygen on that and you're not using oxygen for everything else going in your body, even for your brain, then you're wasting moments that you can slow down, like you said. Yeah. Man. Okay. So we started this off with you talking about a list that you wrote when you were younger, that you were able to kind of bring everything into fruition. And the term would be manifest. You have an amazing ability to manifest. What advice can you give on sharpening that skill?
That's a fantastic question. I think discipline, and I say discipline because your discipline will determine if you're worthy of it or not. Like, I think manifestation has, like, when you're trying to get the earth and nature and everything to kind of move in your favor or to move in the favor of what nature already is, like you have to be worthy of it for that access to be granted. You know, like you could try to manifest whatever, but if your actions don't equate what you asking for,
Right.
why would the universe, why would God give it to you?
That's strong right there.
You know?
That's strong right there.
So it's a bunch of people that's like, man, and manifesting and it's not working. Yeah, because you not working.
You broke.
You know what I mean?
You got to fix it.
You got to fix it. Your
Yeah.
actions got to, you know, equate up to what you asking for. It's like, and they don't have to be, you know, overarching, super large steps. You know, it'd be little steps every single day, and you'll be surprised because manifestation is a skill. You learn, you get better at it. After the first thing, then it's the second thing. The second thing might take 6 years. The third thing might take 6 months, and then you might manifest something that might take 6 days.
So the magic word is consistency.
Consistency, yeah.
Okay. So you need to be consistent with your discipline. And in being consistent with your discipline, the universe will respond
Yes.
to you in one form or another, depending upon how much you're putting in. That's okay. I think
that's typically...
I think they can walk away with that one.
Yeah.
I think they can walk away with that one. That's simple right there. Okay. You talked about training in the water, and I mentioned how water is our battery. We can pull energy out of water when the sun hits it. So being in a pool, like you said, you learn so much about yourself being in that environment because that's like an optimum environment for us. That's how we started. Like, remember, we was in that womb, you know, surrounded by water, doing everything we needed to do until it was time to come out. And even though we came out of the mother, we only came out of a certain density of water because this is water too. There's vapor throughout this air. It's called the Empyrean Sea.
The air is water.
Right,
Yeah.
the air is water. So we're still in an ocean, so to speak. We just changed the density, so to speak. So can you elaborate on a time where a nutritional approach played a pivotal role in enhancing your physical endurance and stamina during a challenging match?
Yeah, I think that's an easy one. I think in 2020 or 2019, when I turned 24, I went vegan.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now, hold on now, because we got to elaborate. When we say vegan, you was eating a bunch of soy and potato chips and Beyond Burgers.
I
and
was a
Impossible
struggling
Burgers
vegan.
and all.
I
You was a
was.
struggling vegan at first.
Yeah, for sure.
But you learned
Yeah.
in time what is the most beneficial
For sure.
way to go.
Yeah, and it's in everybody, you know, dietary, you know, I like to promote just having a healthy diet because it has an added benefit to your life. Whatever that looks like, it could just be, just take those diligent steps forward. You know, at the time for me, when I turned 24, I decided to go vegan. And that instantly kind of like shifted kind of a lot of different things. Like that year, I was all-star for the first time.
Right.
So that's, I think that had a correlation. I was just moving differently. You know, my thoughts was clear. Everything, my life changed in a sense. And now I intermix vegan practices with my own dietary needs to do what I need to do now. But like, you know, at the time when I was vegan, nothing that I appreciated more than the clear thoughts. The clarity, yeah. And you don't realize by the stuff that you put in your body how much it has an effect on everything.
Everything about you. Oh yeah. It's a journey. Being vegan. There's so many terms these days: vegan, plant-based, whole food. And alkaline. You know.
Right.
And really, what people are wanting to do is to just return back to nature. I want to eat the natural things that the earth provides. without any middleman, without
Right.
somebody putting something in it, processing it,
Right.
whatever it is. And if I can take this natural food that's charged with nature, with the energy, and put it in my body, then I can use it for whatever I need to do.
Right.
Yeah, and you were able to take advantage of that. Okay. 2019, 2020. That was a pivotal year.
It
That
was.
very important. So you noticed that a change was coming, a shift must have been coming for you to make that change at such a pivotal time.
Right before
in there.
2021 was coming. Like, so right
It was time.
in that COVID kind of, and that's the clarity that I kind of received from all of that was going on. And then that led me to doing that. But
Gotcha.
it had already been on like in my plans. Like I wanted to something that I wanted to try, and I decided to explore it then, and then I just started seeing the benefits from it.
Now, food is different than it was back in the day. I mean, there's always been processed foods, but the amount of processed foods, the access of them, like you go overseas to other countries, there's things that are banned that they don't allow sold in their countries that, we have at the gas station, at the corner store. We have a whole generation of children coming up and, they watch you, they watch your teammates, they watch all of these athletes, actors, rappers, people that they look up to, they aspire to be. And, they see the commercials, they see endorsements, they see the easy access to all of these processed foods that are out here. What's a message that you would give the youth in regards to food and lifestyle?
I think to keep doing what they've been doing. I think this generation has been the one that's been shedding a lot of different lights on a lot of different corporations, practices and habits that's been going on, and just starting to understand and seek knowledge for themselves. I think the most valuable thing right now is the ones who can think for themselves. And so I just encourage people to not allow the media, the TV, the corporate entities, the gov to think for you. I think so. That would be my message. Who's gonna think for themselves?
Critical thinking. Make your own decisions.
Yeah. Who's gonna see beyond, and make decisions based off of what they think, see, and feel.
Okay. Yeah, they need that. They need that because, and that's the beautiful thing about the youth is, at one point in time, the youth were outside. They was playing in the park. They was running around. They was on bikes and skateboards and getting dirty in the mud. And the beautiful thing about that is them engaging in the natural environment. So that sharpens their discernment. So somebody comes over and tries to offer them something or sing a jingle or wrap it in pretty paper. It don't matter because their intuitiveness, they can tell, oh, this ain't for me. So yeah, to tell the youth, think for yourself. Like, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Look it up, take your time. That's a very, very, very powerful statement to make. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right, so you were speaking of how natural water is around you. And immediately I thought of the fact that you're a water sign, right?
Yeah.
Scorpio. What point in your life did you pick up meditation, mindfulness, and astrology?
It's kind of always been, a part of the teaching and practices of like the family. So you grow up with it all around you, and people kind of explaining, what meditation is. It's not this new concept that, Lululemon created or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
You've been
like,
around.
Meditation. This is an ancient practice. Like they've been doing that thousands of years ago. So like first understanding that in the form of history, and then that's one thing. But then when the mindfulness kind of came into play, it's like once you become like an adult or a young adult, you start have to implement some of this stuff that you have learned, and that's where like the mindfulness part kind of comes in.
Okay.
And that's like around that same time, 2019. I think I point back when I like cut my hair. This was before COVID. It's like when I went kind of on that journey where I like seen my life not moving in the direction that I kind of wanted it to. In the sense, I still was able to be and achieve a lot of goals, but because of some trauma, some loss, some grief, some people that were around that, really kind of affected, your everyday, that are no longer here with you, kind of affects your spirit.
Of course.
And how you're going to go forward with things. And I was faced with that as a 21-year-old.
Young.
And the mindfulness is kind of what allowed me to kind of, take the things that I've already innately learned through the teachers and the people, the implementers around me to kind of, redirect my life where I wanted it to go. So around that time, 2019, I cut my hair. Part of that was like, wanting to look at a different version of myself going forward. Not only am I cutting my hair, I'm cutting my anxiety, I'm cutting my depression, and I'm cutting all the negativity, the negative thoughts, everything. So, a meditation was a part of just finding that oneness. The mindfulness was a part of like the implementation of like those practices for yourself mentally, like the words of affirmations. You know what I mean? Like the visualization processes, the realization process, all come into like the mindfulness kind of scope of things, and
cutting all those things off actually adds to being able to meditate. Because now you don't have so many things weighing you down. One, two.
Exactly.
You don't have your mind scattered and on so much where you can kind of be more still.
Exactly. And then the astrology part, where that comes in, is like the understanding who you are, right? To the energy makeup. I think what people misconstrued with astrology and zodiac and all this other stuff, like I've always had a fascination with the stars. Right. And that's what our energy signatures kind of come from. Like the sun is a star.
Exactly.
Right. And the sun provides our planet with, vitamin D, light that helps things grow, all these different nutrients and components is the complex for life in itself. Comes from the sun. You got stars all the way around us in every direction, constellations, and that's what Scorpio is, a constellation.
Exactly.
Sagittarius is a constellation. All this is just stars.
Exactly.
And just like how our star, the closest one to us, the sun, has an energy signature that gives off certain information, so does the rest of these stars
do.
that are coming around you. So when you're being born, when all these stars are shining light, and depending on where the sun, the moon, and whatever, that's what the energy helps push you through. So me, around that time is where I started really diving deeper into astrology, learning more about, the sun and moon and the stars, and it's starting to kind of help me start learning more about myself.
Like a cosmic fingerprint.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Exactly.
Because everything was, you want to know about your astrology, then people get a natal chart done, right? And then with it being natal, that dealing with birth and being a child, but it's like a free shot of the alignment that existed at the time you came through.
Yeah.
And with all those different stars, they have their own energy. But what happens when those energies align? What happens when they come together and coordinate into their own thing? So when you deal with like a Scorpio constellation, now you're dealing with all these different stars that it only looks like a scorpion from our vantage point.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But really, these stars are supposed to be light years apart from one another.
Facts.
But for some reason, from where we look, they form into this shape, and now that geometrical pattern is going to yield some type of energy signature, like you said. Now, have you noticed the energy signature of Scorpio in you? Like, can you identify with being a Scorpio?
Absolutely.
That was a trick question.
Absolutely. Don't do that.
No, I was just saying.
We're not about to do that.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think for sure. And I think there's so many other things that go into, like you said, the components into your natal chart and other energy signatures, who you're raised by, then it's like numerology, your numbers. It goes into a lot of stuff that make up the fabric of who you are. But like definitely got, Scorpio tendencies and Scorpio.
Hey, I'm right there with you, dog. You don't got to worry about it. And you were just talking about, I cut my hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I let this go. I let that go. That's that transformation. That's that death, rebirth,
that's that
phoenix
energy
cycle of the Scorpion energy right there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Being able to identify.
Very well
that.
said.
So, no I in team.
Right.
You're here, but you're part of an amazing group of individuals. Y'all are like Avengers, you know what I'm saying, out here doing some super work. And then y'all rocking the green. Like that's the heart chakra, that's abundance, that's nature, it's money, It's just it's an amazing frequency to operate on. How important is it having a stable team around you on and off the court? Because you have your Boston Celtics team, right? But then you also have the team that's behind the scenes that does all of this work that, a lot of people don't see. They only get to see the finished product.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't think anybody does anything by themselves. I think it's always, especially anybody who does anything great, I don't think they do it by themselves. It's a collective group effort, almost like a collective mind, just all moving and shaping and pushing something in a direction. It might be people at the forefront of that. It might be people on the back of that. But it's like we move as a collective, you know what I mean? And all of our thoughts, all of our intel, all of our, we put into this because we are aligned and we want to have, we want to manifest what it is that we want to help solve problems in the world, right? So, and I think that's one of the hardest things in the world is to develop a team first, and speaking more on and off the court, but developing a team, getting people on the same page, getting people all in the room that's going to be on accordance, that's going to agree. I think social capital is one of the most valuable things because that's like, it's hard to get two people in the room and just to be able to agree or be able to put everything in the pot together and not one person going to be taking something out the pot when that person turned around or like this person using this excuse like my old lady called and now I got to take this out. You know what I mean? Just to be able to have two people through whatever adversity that can maintain the same perspective and be on the same page throughout all the obstacles of life, extremely hard to find. So being able to build that with multiple individuals becomes extremely valuable.
Of course.
It don't matter what you about to go do in the world. If you can have people on the same page that can maneuver through life's obstacles and remain on the same train of thought.
Right.
Like, it don't matter if you're going to play basketball. It don't matter if you're starting a business. It don't matter if you selling mangoes on the island. You know what I mean? You're going to be successful.
Exactly.
So that's what, I've been focused on is building great teams. One, just in terms of like, family. I think that's your first team that you encompass, right? And that comes with a lot of different, emotions and sometimes it comes with trauma and all these different things.
Definitely weathers you.
And that one probably affects you the most, but it's a team. And, the Celtics, developing a team as well. Like everybody has their job, their roles, their responsibilities, and everybody has comfort in that. You know what I mean? Everybody not going to be the guy shooting the ball. We need somebody to be a rebounder. We need somebody to be, be great at facilitating. We need somebody to excel at, playing defense and blocking shots. We need to be well-versed in everything, but maybe this is your job on this team.
Right.
This is what, when we all here together, this is what we do. not to say you shouldn't develop the rest of those skills, but, you know, this is how it should look. So, you know, it's not easy to find individuals to kind of agree to that, because it's like, man, I should be the one doing this. I should be the one rebounding. I should be the one shooting the three. I should be the one getting this and getting that. And that takes away from the team. If you got people, like, if you're destroying yourself, conflicting internally, like, forget about an opponent. You know,
Yeah,
so,
you your worst enemy at that point.
right. So team building is essential. I'm a big advocate of team building. Like, whatever project we doing, whatever goal we trying to accomplish, making sure you have a great team, a great foundation. I'm big on family. I have some of my family in the room, making sure that, you know, you build in with your first team, which is your family and extended family, and then you can go out in the world and achieve and accomplish. But, you know, if those teams are not playing together, or if it's not those, that team ain't gonna win.
And you know, you speaking about business and team, and what comes to mind is corporation. And you know, the root word in that is body. You know, it's funny that they call business a body, because as you were just stating, everybody has to play a part. So, you know, if the heart cell was like, yo, I want to be the stomach cell today.
Exactly.
If the bone cell was like, nah, son, I want to be the spleen. You know what I mean? You're gonna have some problems in how you're in the workings.
Yeah, more than problems.
Right. So everybody has to play their part. Essentially, no matter how minuscule it is or how grandiose it is, because as much as all the players have their particular positions, you also have a coach. You know what I mean? And he has a position to play as well. You
Absolutely.
know, he might not be directly on the court, but his is more, you know, his is on the mental, you know?
Yes, sir.
And playing it from that perspective. So, yeah, I could definitely understand that, where it's pretty much a consistent thing on both sides, whether it's on the court or off the court. It's a team regardless.
Yeah, a lot of symmetry in that.
Got you. Symmetry. I hear that. Symmetry. All right. So, a little birdie told me history is your favorite subject to talk about.
I love history, yeah.
Oh, boy. So, how has history correlated to you and your craft, and how has history shaped your life and mentality?
History is in the essence and the fabric of what is,
Okay.
you know, and how it correlates to, like, my craft. I would say just by understanding the history of your craft in the first place, right? And, you know, the history of basketball, or, you know, games similar or different versions, go back way further than Dr. James Naismith, you know? They got the Olmecs, who were the rubber people.
With the rubber ball.
You know, the Mayans, who used to play, you know, the game on the ground.
That's right.
With the circles. The Olmecs used to play with the rubber ball and the rings up high. And the game that I'm speaking towards is Ulamalitsi.
Ooh, say that. Hold on now. You can't just fly by
It goes.
that, bro.
It
Say
goes.
that one more time.
It's a bunch of names for it. What
That
you
was
call
smooth
it?
right there. No. I wanted to hear you say that one more time. That's smooth right there.
Ulamalitsi.
Ulamalitsi. Okay.
Yeah, that vibrational.
That sounds better than basketball. I don't care so much. That's what I'm going.
But yeah, in Mesoamerica, you know, that was a game that was actively practiced. We also hear about, you know, and they played it in multiple dimensions. Also, it was almost like a version similar to a form of like the Olympics, where people were sacrificed. But you know, studies have shown it was also, they played the game on a recreational level, and that's how they taught, you know, the game to the younger ones. And it was more played 7-on-7 than it was 5-on-5. Another 7 reference.
Wow. Okay.
But the Olmecs, who I like to emphasize and focus on,
Yes.
who you could still go to Mexico, you could still go to Mesoamerica and see some of their traces today, and they look like me and you.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Matter
They got
of
the
fact,
statues.
the hairdo you got right now is on one of them.
Exactly, yeah. And they're still there. I went to Chichen Itza.
Oh, yeah, the Quetzalcoatl, the descending serpent,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. El Castillo. Tahuta Khan, and they still actively keep those, deities in active form of practice even now. But for the game, the omics, if you look up the word omic, it translates to rubber.
Okay.
They were the rubber people, and that's what they mined. That's what they, in a sense, manufactured during this time. And they were in that time. They coexisted with the Mayans as well. I think the Aztecs came much later in time. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Aztecs came after the Mayans.
Yeah, the Aztecs was actually a name given to the people. They didn't call themselves that.
Right.
They were like it was like Atalan. It was another term that was used. But Olmec is definitely the original name. I see you representing some Olmec right now, ain't you?
I had to come and represent. We had to come in hot. Come on, KT.
You know what I'm saying? That's that real green. That's that jade.
For sure. So spending some time there, tapping in with, the ancestors. But first, understanding like the history of kind of like where similar form of games, or you could say where the creative spark of a game like basketball originated.
Wow.
And the Omics, why I emphasize them? Because they play with the rubber ball.
Exactly.
Right.
And a hoop.
And a hoop. And they put the hoop up high.
Up high.
And that's the differentiator between the Mayans. They played the ball, they played with stone. And they used their elbows and their knees, and the goal was down low, similar to modern day soccer.
Right.
But the Omics
had that hoop up.
They had that hoop.
And wasn't the hoop sideways too?
It was sideways.
Yo, that's wild.
Yeah. They had the hoop up high, sideways, and they played 7-on-7.
Yes.
And a lot of, people have debated the descendants of the Omics, but, you could go and see for yourself.
Oh, that's easy. You already know who the descendants are. They look like you.
Exactly.
Come on, man. You know you down there. They look like me. And when you follow the just the line from La Venta, because La Venta is where the concentration of the Olmec findings are, statues and everything. You start to Oaxaca and all that. You start to come up. You get into the Mississippi Delta. Now you get into the mounds and the mound builders.
Yeah.
And then you get a dispersing of our people to the east and the west coast. So we're definitely descendants. I mean, you run into anybody who's 6'6", 7 feet, 7'5", and you don't even have to teach them how to bounce a ball, and they got it in them. That means that that's something inherent in their genes. There's something that their ancestors have blessed them with. So yeah, it's definitely not nothing new. When I hear that, basketball started, I'm like, no, basketball was here way longer than that.
And fun fact, I had the privilege on being on a design team. So what do they call the Mecca of basketball in the United States?
What is the Mecca of basketball in the United States?
I mean, it's debated, but who claims it for, you know what I mean? Like, who gets the credit for the Mecca of basketball in the U.S.?
Well, I mean, New York claims everything. So, you know what I'm saying? No matter what it is. Now, you can say French, yo. We've been speaking French up here son for a wee.
Hey, shout out to New York,
you know what I'm saying?
New York is the Mecca of basketball, or for so be it, in the United States. And a lot of what people describe as one of the essential playing grounds in New York has always been Rucker Park.
Oh yeah, Rucker ain't no joke for sure.
Right, so many legends, so much history has transpired through that area and through the Rucker and whatnot. And about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I had the honor or had the privilege of being on the design team to redesign Rucker Park.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man,
so
that went past me. Okay.
Yeah, if you go to Rucker Park, right now to this day, you'll see. I got the Ulamalitsi.
No.
The goals up sideways with the stones. You know what I mean? I got the court, gold and black, just like how it was.
Oh, that's hard. And I go up New York all the time. Next time I'm stopping by.
Next time in New York, make sure you stop at the Rucker and check it out.
And you done put your signature on it.
Not mine.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm saying you was part of the design team.
Oh, yeah.
And when I say signature, I'm not saying, you know what I mean, like that, but just the fact that you was part of that.
I just brought what was already what was already was just back forward. You know.
I hear that. I accept that. I received that. All right, so that's the history lesson right there. And you know how many youth needed to hear that? Like they need to know, you know. And we have to go back before slavery because for some reason there's a pin
That's where history
in
starts
for
in
us.
U.S. Like
Yeah, it's just
400 years ago.
slavery. You came over here, and we need to understand that our story starts way beyond that.
Way further back.
We're
Yeah.
talking about before there was light, there was darkness. Okay. All right. Now, we spoke about the fasting earlier, and I was talking about drinking water, sea moss, and things of that nature. One of the main ways people like to fast is through juicing, because you know when you juice, you're kind of giving your digestive system a break. We have 30 feet of a digestive system with all of these intricate parts going into it, from the hydrochloric acid of the stomach to the cholecystokinin and the secretin coming into the intestines, all the way into the colon. It's the liver, the pancreas, all these things are involved. So when you juice, you're essentially taking a lot of that work away, and you're actually allowing these enzymes, these nutrients, to get into your system a lot quicker. So, you know, what you talking about how important fasting is with mentality, I find it interesting that you decided to use the word juice. And I know juice has always been in our culture. You know, we use that term, you know, shout out to Pac and Omar Epps back in the day, classic culture film, where we use it as a term to just mean, you know, your swag, your popularity, the way you move, you know, the type of light that you have inside. You got that juice, you know.
There you go.
So I just wanted to know, you know, why did you name your company Juice, and superimposing the 7 into the J? You know what I'm saying? And you know your name starts with a J too, so I'm wondering if there's any correlation there. And elaborate on this mission and just how you came up with all that.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Juice, to us, has been like a synonym for energy. You know what I mean? So, like, what do you need when your phone dies?
You need some juice.
You know, what do you need when you know, tired, or you stressed out, or you got, you know, anxiety, you need to go exercise, you need to get some juice.
And juice it up.
You know, so it's just a synonym for energy, and we put the 7 in there because that's like the divine signature on it. So like that type of energy is what we're trying to put out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, where else you gonna get your juice from?
Exactly.
You know, because you can get juice from different areas. You got people getting juice from all types of corners.
It's true.
So you're just specifying. Listen,
specifying with the 7.
We want you to get your juice, but this is where you need to get your juice from.
Yeah.
So that means that when people wear those garments, these pieces, it's not just a fashion statement. They're really energy generators. They're actually tapping in, and you actually are helping people to level up, so to speak.
Yeah, and that was just the start project. You know, we got some. I mean, inshallah, this year, 2024, we got some more stuff that has a lot more solution-based kind of technology infused in it that we can't wait to debut. But, you know, Juice, you know, we started that like 2017, 2018, just as like something to give just the fans, the family, because they wasn't really selling my jersey for whatever reason. They wasn't really pushing, you know, me as like that.
Right.
So we started creating that to just push ourselves, give it to the ones who wanted to support. And now it's turned into a clothing line. This is my foundation as well. Right. It's a part of our signature when we get back to the community. We got different products that we are on the brink of emerging. Like now Juice is just taking the life of its own. and it's going to continue to grow. But that's how I really just started, just trying to make people feel a little bit more connected to what it is that we're trying to create, what it is that they're seeing. You know, they're seeing me, but they also seeing me stand for all these different type of things in education, in the community. And we wanted, you know, something to symbolize that, because that's where I get my juice from.
Well said.
The seven.
Well said.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a perfect example of when you were speaking on the manifesting part with the discipline, how you don't just wait around like things ain't happening because you're not working towards it. So you could have complained, you could have been sulking or having an issue with the thing, but you decided to actually create a solution.
Yeah, and that goes into a lot of our thought processes, like the whole team. And they'll tell you, like, I'm the first one, like, yeah, it's okay to identify the problems in the world, but if you're not adding to the solutions, you might as well keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
You know, because you're only making it worse.
Exactly. You giving that energy, you giving that juice.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like we identify problems in the world, and we're in hopes or in the works of trying to bring solutions to certain things. And some of them you guys will hear very, very soon. And hopefully we'll be able to continue to maintain that until we no longer here. But I mean, that's the overall mission of kind of like how I see and how you're trying to make the world a better place. You know, you see problems, you create solutions.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Solutions, which in dealing with herbs, when you do tonics and teas and everything like that, that's another term that's used. They're called solutions.
That's fire.
And you talked about water, working out in water, and you being a water sign and how it just feels natural to you.
That's
and that's
me.
the universal
I'm going to dap you up on
solvent.
that.
Wait, what?
I'm going to dap
You
up
like
on
that right there?
That was off the top. That was off the top. It was crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That
That's
was
the
fire.
vibe. I'm a water sign too, man.
That was
We
cool.
watering over here. But no, it's the universal salute. So, you know, you definitely all about solutions. You know what I'm saying? All right, so that's one of the projects that you implemented some time ago. So what other projects are you working on in the community for the youth and just the people in general? I remember not too long ago you referenced Black Wall Street. That was a very powerful moment, you know, in our culture when you sat there and made that statement, because it's like, yes, there wasn't just Tulsa. Like Black Wall Street that's how we got down. You know, we had businesses, cities, we were working, you know. So yeah, I just want to know what you got in store.
I would like to start off by saying this. You know, a lot of times we say amongst each other, people of color, black people, people of the sun, whatever you want to refer to, is that we can't seem to get our stuff together. Like I hear celebrities, athletes, or whoever, especially people with influence, saying, why can't black people do this, or why can't black people do that? Like, we've done it plenty and many times over. We've created things, we've created solutions, we created communities, we created a Wall Street, we created ideas, you know, inventions, and never got the credit for it, or some of them never seen the light of day.
Right.
Or they got destroyed right in front of our eyes.
That's right.
You know, and where people see, you know, destruction, or when people see disalignment, or when people create disalignment, is where they try to create opportunity. And that's what has been happening for the last X, Y, and Z. Opportunists have taken advantage of our culture, our value system, and we haven't necessarily, you know, overcame it yet. But that doesn't mean that we haven't, on multiple occasions, come up with solutions. Some of the most brilliant of minds have came together and created a lot of different things in our community throughout history. And they've been overran. They've been colonized. They've been, and it's happened. And some of it, you could say, is our own fault in some degree, but our capability of creating and coming together has never been the issue. So I want to start off by saying that, but Black Wall Street is definitely a project that we want to, recreate, especially in a place like Boston. Boston's wealth disparity is at an all-time high. It's actually it's been that way for a long period of time, where the disparity is just between, the average person of color household versus the average, Caucasian American household is
It's a huge gap.
It's a huge gap. I think in 2015 it came out with an article that caught a lot of people's attention, where it was like in 2015 the average Caucasian American household was like six figures, and the average Black household was like $8. Yeah. So
Wait, hold on, hold on, son. You said six figures versus $8.
that was the income disparity in the city of Boston, and which
Boston
is
got money.
which is resources crazily, like schools, hospitals, technology centers. They got it all. So like to see what Boston has in their resource bank and to see how it's not being applied to certain groups of people only can give you the indication that this is in intention.
Oh, most definitely.
Right. So a lot of stuff has transpired, but being able to be in the city for so long and being a part of like the solutions that you want to create, a project like that, I think, can not only just help people of color attack that wealth gap and wealth disparity, but also better the overall economy at the same time.
Of course.
And how we're going to go about doing that, we'll announce plans and stuff. We want everybody to stay tuned, but
Of course.
that's a goal of mine, and I'm passionate about it because I think like Boston represents hegemony in America, and there's a lot of great people in the city of Boston, but behind closed doors, if you look at the analytics, it's a bunch of bullshit going on. You know what I mean? So I live there, so I'm a part of the problem too. So,
Also the solution.
and also the solution. Exactly.
There we go.
So, that's something that I announced this past summer when I signed my latest deal, and I'm excited to dedicate my own funds, my own time, my own resources. I'm 27 years old, but I'm passionate about seeing this change. Right. So I think that's a project that I'm looking forward to. Another project is Bridge, and that's something that we also started in Boston.
Okay.
And Bridge is a educational program where you kind of take kids that come from these disadvantaged communities, or they get the short end of the stick in terms of resources, and you select as many students through the various interviews processes, but basically you take those students and place them in a place where they get reintroduced to learning, in a sense, because based on your zip code, based on where where you reside, where you live, can determine your future here in America.
Oh, definitely. Zip code matters.
Exactly. So we take those kids from those zip codes and we take them up to MIT, where I design and create the curriculum, and we introduce them to STEM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, STEAM. But it'll be artificial intelligence. They get introduced to synthetic biology, space exploration, nutritional and wellness, leadership, activism, and they get introduced to it all. And
Things that they would
exposure.
never get exposed to otherwise.
Yeah, and we try to shift their social mobility, because exposure is big. What you can see yourself doing in your own mind is what you can be.
That's right.
So taking those students who didn't think that that society has bet against them, or they're betting on you to lose, nah, we're betting on you to win. So, and it's the way America works is that some people have to lose and some people have to win, and there's so many things in place to filter people to the top and filter those to the bottom, and that's just how America has always worked. It's no secret, but at what expense? we got a bunch of young, bright, talented, young minds who have contributions to make to society, and they will never get the opportunity because they was born in the wrong zip code, or they had a single parent in their household because the father got incarcerated because the incarceration rate in Boston is in the higher percent. It's like all these different components that has an effect on who someone and how someone can contribute to the world. So, the reason why I'm so passionate about that, because I'm one of those kids, you know what I mean? And, I had a great group of people, of teachers who were around me that I was blessed and able to maneuver through the system. But, what if I didn't?
Where would you be now?
Where would I be now?
No, I get that. Yeah, children just need opportunity. They need to be able to see themselves. Something as simple as Black Panther, you know what I'm saying? Young black men finally being able to see, because some people think it's in poor taste, to speak on that. But when you think about the psychology of a child, if they have a big brother, if they have anybody bigger than them they could look up to, they want to pretty much form themselves after that. They use it as inspiration. They want to aspire to be. And, you go to Target, and, the supermarket, and you see little kids dressed up, Thor, Spider-Man, or whatever like that. And
superheroes.
Right. To them, they them heroes. And, to you think it's cute. Oh, look at him, he looking crazy. But in that child's mind, he is an all-powerful being that is running his universe. And if that is his mentality at that age and he keeps that, then by the time he hits the corporate world or becomes a business owner, he's still Spider-Man. He's still Thor. He's still the Incredible Hulk. Us, on the other hand, they be throwing us so many crumbs that we never really have nothing to hold on to, yet our roster is ridiculous. If we only knew who came before us, you know what I mean? Elijah McCoy, all of the people that have come before, George Washington Carver, Benjamin Banneker, we have all of these Henrietta Lacks.
Don't forget the queens. Don't leave them out.
Henrietta, she as before you even had a chance to say it, she just jumped up in me. Henrietta Lacks. Yeah. The whole medical industry, I wouldn't know anything about mitochondrial cells if it wasn't for her sacrifice, because she had cancer in her womb. You know what I'm saying? And they took a piece of her cells, and now they have something called the immortal cell line, where her cells never die. They're still alive today from the 50s. Still alive. So every medical book, biology book that got pictures of how cells look and how they operate, they're based on studying her cells. A woman, a black woman. So we have real heroes, not heroes that Stan Lee wrote and Jack Kirby wrote, because even them, they source their material
from what?
Off of us.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And our, as you spoke before, which you love so much, history. So being able to align the youth with these stories and history, so they can know who they are and have pride to motivate them.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like Marvel wasn't not even hiding it no more.
No.
You seen the latest Black Panther? It was just like, it was Tahuta Khan. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't even nobody in armor.
It was the Olmecs, right.
Yeah.
It was the black folks over here. It was the black folks over there. Even in the first one, it was the panther versus the jaguar. The jaguar ain't over in Africa; it's over here. So they were talking about Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere, our occupation. Diplomatic mentality versus a very volatile, aggressive, warrior mentality. Quiet warrior versus loud warrior. But I say all that to say that it's a amazing thing that you're putting this energy into the youth, into the children, because on the other side, people are putting a lot of energy in the youth too. they're giving them that wrong juice. They juicing them with something else. And to be able to compete with that takes a lot of work. You know what I mean? But as you said, we can sit around and continue to talk about it and flesh out problems and keep reiterating problems, or we could start talking about solutions. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean, that's necessary.
I think that's how, we all will be judged. I mean, how much light did you create? I mean, how many minds did you spark? How many lives did you touch? So I think like just doing that at significant levels is something that I want to be able to reach. Just try to use my platform and through this, my team, through this like collective consciousness of people that align, that social capital grows, and you just start building more and more people that are on the same page, and we go out and try to shift the world.
So, somebody looking for you on IG,
Yeah.
They put in Jaylen Brown and stuff. They might not find you because you got a whole nother handle on social media.
Right. They know
FCHWPO.
Yes, sir.
Can you break that down for me?
Faith, consistency, hard work pays off.
Hey, one more time.
Faith, consistency, hard work pays off. And before we were talking about manifesting.
Yes.
And that's been my social media handle. I've been writing it on my shoes. I've been writing it out on the front of my binder since I was like 13, and it was just already like, you already heard the phrase like hard work pays off.
Yes.
That was like a common thing. And then just, something just spoke to me, just the FC, the faith and consistency.
FC on there, faith and consistency. And that it's interesting because that's kind of been the constant of our conversation this whole time.
Yeah, it's a mentality, I kind of look at it as like, like my guidance. It's the overarching, it's the through line between everything. Your faith, it's your belief, and the seen and the unseen is like your consistency, your discipline, the work you put in. We talked about manifesting, and we talk about it ain't gonna manifest unless you do, unless you work.
No
and
payoff.
So you got to put in the hard work in order for you to get that abundance at the end, and those things kind of all come together through that whole mentality. And now it's taking on a life of its own. I've seen people in Boston get it tatted on them now, and stuff like that. People, tag it. People they live by it because I've spoken on it before, but people feel it. I guess it's kind of like my Mamba mentality is what it is, and that applies to all facets in life. Faith, consistency, and hard work pays off.
Oh man, that's definitely a mantra to live by right there. Definitely. So with that being said, you obviously exemplify that principle every day. I know it's not just on the court. I know it's off the court. I know it's what you're thinking, how you just attack life in general. That's a mantra that you live by. I know that you've been providing yourself with not just the necessary things to keep your thoughts going, to keep your motor running and everything like that, but as you mentioned before, you tried the vegan, you get the food in, the nutrients, things of that nature. But I know you also dabble in some superfoods too.
Yes, sir.
Because, the food that we once had, it's just not the same, unless you sourcing it from certain farms and things like that. So sometimes, we have to supplement with some of these superfoods. We get more of these properties in, which help to further fulfill the consistency and the hard work so you can be consistent. I know you have a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
You got a couple favorites.
Two.
But I know one of them is green, just like you.
Yeah.
And that's the Fido.
Yes, sir.
the phyto-omega-3 is marine phytoplankton. I call it whale food because the blue whales, they're the largest mammal on the planet. Ain't nobody messing with them. They live long. They're strong. They're very healthy. They communicate. They're extremely intelligent. And out of everything that they could eat, they eat this marine phytoplankton. It's a staple in their diet. So it benefits us. So I wanted to know, what is it about the phytoplankton, the phyto-omega-3 that resonates with you so much? I know it's more than just the color.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you just said and the science behind it and how that can, whales being the largest mammal on the planet, highly intelligent in the forms of communication, and they communicate through water with sound,
Right.
with like sound initiators. I don't even know how to call it, which is like a superpower.
Right.
But this is what they choose to confide in. So, learning from the teachers and the masters around, something that I implemented into my diet, and it's something that has helped me on my court, helped me on my performance.
How does it make you feel when you take a quick shot of that phyto?
I mean, it.
You up all the way up.
It just,
Nice.
charges you up, man. So, it puts you in that Saiyan mode.
Whenever you feel like your feet are dragging, and you just need a pick me up, taking a shot of that, it definitely gets you going. And then number 2 is the C3, right? I know you love that sea moss. Now I know you love sea moss in general, but because I make that specialty gel, it makes it real easy for you to make the tea. But you don't even wait for the hot water. You
right out the jar.
You scooping it straight out the jar. You taking the concentrate.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about the love you develop for your craft is like some of the things that you do won't be for the taste or the look or and you can also, it doesn't taste bad, but you can add stuff to it to make it more digestible. But me, I'm just right out the jar with it.
That honey couples with it real well now. I know you were scared to get them drops at first.
I got her. We all got her.
Yep, and then he was telling me the story. You looked over somewhere and you was like, wait a minute, no, it's clear.
Nah, for sure, yeah. When I love science, outside of history, which is crazy, they coincide with each other, history and science, but I love science as well. So like, if you explain the science to me, and it makes sense, let's implement it.
You with it.
So the honey, and just, the stingless bee, and then even in that same part of the world where Mesoamerica, where we were at, we learned so much about like the components about how, this has helped and aided the DNA reconstruction and all different type of stuff in that area.
Those
so
are definitely Olmec bees for sure.
You feel me? So I've added it to my diet, and I really don't get sick like that, knock on wood. But, the stuff that we've been able to add to my regimen, stronger, faster, my mind is quicker, and I credit it to what I'm putting in my regimen, in my diet. So
staying ahead of the curve.
Nah, shout outs to you, brother, man. You've been doing your thing.
Hey, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get you your flowers and stuff like that. I got to start asking you some questions.
Oh, hey, I'm here. I'm here.
I ain't got nothing. I'll just...
Next time.
Sure.
But no, I mean, what I mean by that is I'm here. I remember sitting across from you. I think it was in Target all those years ago.
Outside,
yeah. And I told you then, I was like, I'm here whenever you need me. So being able to support you during this journey that you've had and just see you flourish and grow and know that, this is still just like the preface and the introduction compared to how much more you have. I really appreciate, the time that you took out to be able to share with the people your thoughts, because, usually you get on a podcast and it's, sports is going to be the main conversation. And the funny thing about athletes are, even though that's their profession, they're multifaceted. There's so much more to them, and we need to do a better job getting to know y'all better, because we'll find out, oh man, we got some geniuses amongst us, you know? Like I said, I appreciate you taking the time out. I know you got a busy schedule. You know what I mean? You and your team are doing some serious works right now. I don't want to keep you too much longer. This is definitely just part one to warm the people up. There's more to talk about in the future, but I would like to just extend my gratitude to you, tell you thank you for the great works that you're doing, and please continue to do them.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. And the pleasure was mine, my brother.
As always.
For sure.
All right, bro. All right, so we was talking about team earlier, you know, so we had to go ahead and bring your team up out here. So I want to thank y'all for joining us so the people could see, you know, the magic behind the man. I got a question for y'all since we talking about team, and I brought up the whole corporate thing and it being a body, and, you know, everybody plays their part. In terms of y'all playing y'all part, what body part are you in this body?
You want to go first?
That's a good question.
Hey,
Fantastic question. Want to go first?
I got two possibles for me. I'll
Okay.
let them like pick one.
Possible. This man,
What
this
we got?
ain't you
So,
playing spades.
I said I'm the aura. That they laughed at that. I'm the aura. I'm like around the body, but
the biofield.
yeah. I'm neither that or the ears. You know what I mean? Like the.
That's a big
The
jump
ears
right
is
there.
hard,
Please.
I'm like the ears, right? Yeah.
Let's break that down.
I'm the
Break that
ears
down.
for
What's
sure.
the ears? Why do you-
Cause I'm like Paul. I'm like the Paul Revere. I feel like you know I see what's coming, and kind of come back like, hey yo, this is this that. I kind of keep my ear to the street. You know what I mean?
to the street.
That's like my little secret
Pretty
superpower.
much the biofield. I get it now. I
Yeah.
get it now. Okay. I don't know how y'all gonna follow that one right there. The biofield in the ear. Who's next?
If we get into
Yeah, here they go.
nah, I'm playing. I would say the hands. Yeah. Just crafting, scribing, just notes, taking notes. Always being at the ready to create something. So I'll say the hands.
Because in being a team, that's a term somebody's gonna say is give me a hand. You know what I mean? That's
Exactly.
being there for somebody. And I also want to mention this in AI. That's the one thing that it can't get right, because the hands have always been a microcosm of the body and our spirit and expression. So it's difficult for AI to duplicate that, because it has to be something that's like derived from a soul, a spirit, you know? Even the term Yod in Hebrew means hand, and you get Yoda, and he represents the hand of God, you know? So that's strong right there. That's strong right
That's
there.
a good one.
All right. Well, we got say the best for last.
If we get in two, I'll probably say the eyes. I think I'm the eyes. I feel like when
Okay.
it comes to like being vigilant, kind of keeping an eye on everything, making sure everything is where it's supposed to be and looks how it's supposed to look, I feel like that's something I gravitate towards.
The hawk on high, seeing everything that's happening. Now you said two, so was you being like next level with it because there's two eyeballs? Is that where you was going, or you literally got two things?
That was hard.
That was my two.
See what I'm saying? To say the best.
Don't let me get a third one.
Okay,
Ooh,
okay.
that was hard.
Tag it on. Tag it on. Tag it on. We got it.
Yeah, that was hard.
And you know, me, I'm the asshole. But these,
What? Bro.
they ain't supposed to be doing. I'm the asshole. All
You
right?
the one that got to get rid of the. I get what you're saying.
Was it in the waist? Clear it out.
He said, "I'll drop you in a minute." Nah, okay. Well, that's an interesting body we just put together right there. But in front of me, I see a lineage. I see a sacred lineage in front of me. So my next question is one word, and that is legacy. What are y'all thoughts on legacy?
As far as leaving one or continuing one?
I would say attack both of those.
I think they kind of go hand in hand now the more I think about it. I think that a legacy has started long before you, regardless of, we all come from somewhere. And I think that we take that and kind of review it a lot. What I was saying about being the ears is like, you take all the info in, you download it all, and then you make adjustments where it's needed. And I think that that's part of adding your own piece of the legacy to the overall, dynasty, if you will, like the continuation. I think that it's just as forward with legacy to look back as look forward. And that's like my initial thought.
We kind of hit it on the head. I feel like for me, when I think about the amount of people, that put in their efforts, that put in their time to get me to the point I'm at now, like everything that had to go a specific way and everybody had to do, put in a specific amount of effort for the outcome of us sitting here right now, like even for you to sit here, is like everybody's got to take their baton and amplify that. So for me, the idea of legacy, I think it builds on what's already in place and then kind of leaving your imprint on it, but in a way that amplifies it, where when it was your point in the storyline, when it was your point to address, you had to take the baton. Like, you can't always focus on, if you're not running anchor, you can't always focus on the finish line. If you didn't start the race, you can't always worry about how you came out the blocks. But like in your sprint and whatever your leg of the race is, how much ground did you make up? How much did you amplify? How much did you put whoever's going to take the baton after you in a position to take it even further? It's kind of the way I always viewed it.
See, my brother, legacy. Legacy is definitely the energy of the infinite, right? It's ever backwards and it's ever forward. That comes with a lot, family legacy, what you leave behind. But the most important thing about legacy to me is one, you got to acknowledge when you're in it and when you're in the midst of creating it, but also make sure the foundation of that legacy could be everlasting. You look at the previous wonders of the world, the goal should be to create that in essence in everything that we do. That's going to be everlasting, that could be talked about and discussed decades, centuries, millennia from now. That could also be passed down through your family. So legacy is knowledge, it's history, it's record keeping, references, creation, pioneering, and strong structural foundational building.
I think that pretty much covers it for me. Legacy is time, and time is relative, and there's so many things that fall in between the acknowledgement of time and what we doing while we here and the application of it. Because what we do, what gives awareness to time is like just his application here in the physical world. So what we do with each step is going to determine our legacy.
All right, now that was heavy from all of y'all. So let me lighten it up. Let me lighten it up. We're gonna go deep. We're gonna make some troughs and crests on these waves here. Favorite movies of the past year. Let me get top movie. I need a top movie from each one of y'all.
Past year?
Past year, yeah. I'm just trying to give y'all some time. It's not like it been hitting like that.
In the last year, or just like I seen in the last year?
Yeah, that you've seen in the last year. That you've seen within the last. It could be something new, or it could just be something new to you. Yeah,
I got a wild one that I just watched like 3 weeks ago.
Here we go.
So when I be on like inspo searches or quests, I watch like random movies.
Okay.
And I seen this one called The Sound of Music. It's like a musical from the 50s.
The Sound of Music? That's what you...
Yeah. But it was like on some, I never would have normally liked it, but a lot of like the plot and even how it was a lot of like chaos in the world, what they was dealing with.
Right.
I think it was around World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And she was literally using the music to like diffuse military situations. Like it was a musical.
Right.
So, it ain't my taste of music, But just seeing the science behind that was like, ooh, you know, because we in similar times in a lot of ways. So that's one that just came to mind. But
That's a deep selection.
Mhm.
Because when you look in the music industry, you'll see this connection between hits and the Swiss. And apparently this connection between people going out there and learning how to make hits and blowing up started with that movie.
you know, I realized that I did some research on it after I watched it, and it's an origin point. I was kind of
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wild. You brought that one. Of course. I'm gonna bring up the sound of music. Okay.
I like that. Dune. I don't know if y'all. It just came out.
Don't start. You're gonna have to change the camera, the battery again, bro, because we're gonna be here another 2 hours. We
Dune
get to
was
talk
crazy.
about
The
Dune.
legacy, the prophecy. It was tough. So I'm gonna just say Dune.
First one or the second one?
The first one was a better. The second one, the visuals was crazy.
The visuals was insane.
Yeah, it made me feel like goosebumps.
Right.
I'm gonna say the second one because the whole prophecy fulfilling that part.
Yeah.
And now he was the. Yeah, nah. I'm gonna go with the second one.
H.X.R.U. Yeah, he was going in. Who's next?
Honestly, none has come to my mind. I don't even watch movies.
I don't got time for movies like that. I got real work to do, man.
Yeah, you know.
There's always one in the crew though. That's percentages.
See, this is tough because I'm a movie buff, so like I'm trying to go through the Rolodex. I would say the top one that's coming to mind right now, just because I didn't get the date all the way back to what I've seen in the last year, is probably The Creator.
Ooh,
I like the way they put that one together. I think that was a dope one.
Yeah, they had that promotion where they had the people come to the baseball game. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
They had people dressed up like this and show up at the baseball game like the androids and act like androids, and people watching the game like, yo, what is this next right now?
No, I forgot.
But just showing pretty much AI's potential in the future, in a dystopian future, right? Yeah, that was a strong.
I don't know why I got a thing for like dystopian and utopian movies.
Because when you look at worst case scenarios, it just helps you prepare yourself more.
Yeah.
You be like, oh, that's the worst it could get? Okay, well, I know what I need to do for that then.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? All right. So that was a light one. Okay. Y'all know I talk about the mitochondria all the time in regards to the power of the body. I want to get from y'all what aspect of health, microbiology that fascinates you the most, just about the kingdom of God that you possess. I want to know what stands out to you.
I'm the asshole.
You know, it's funny. Hold on. Before we move forward, I got to elaborate on this asshole thing. Listen, you pause. No Diddy.
Yo.
No Diddy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So there's a term. You're going to get a pause, Reggie. There's a term called the devil's anus. Y'all ever heard that term before?
I think so.
It's a term in alchemy, right? And the devil's anus it was actually in Ragnarok with Thor too. They use that term. But what it is what you would call a microscope, a telescope, anything that allows you to see the unseen world, a mushroom trip. Because if you really want somebody to know what's going on in you, what do people get? They get colonoscopies, right? People are now sending in their feces, right, to see how their microbiome's going, and that tells you how your whole system is. Even when you look at autopsies and stuff, right? So when they use that term, they're talking about being able to see all. And that's what a microscope is essentially, because you're looking through this glass, but now you can see this world that you normally can't see with your regular eye, you know? So That's where you was getting at. That's what I was trying to say. He looked like he was ready to say so. I can't wait to hear what you was gonna say. Well, what's up?
I think just one thing that's always kind of fascinated me, I catch myself just at random times, like it's one of the things you don't notice until you notice it, is like your heart's rhythm. Just like for me, I catch myself being fascinated by the idea of like a predetermined amount of beats. And yeah, and like you never really, like there's no way to really calculate it, but when you focus on it, you start to notice how quick they going by.
Yeah.
And then it makes you kind of reassess what are you doing in that time period. Like if that as a marker of time for me has always been anytime I take notice of it, whether you like catch yourself laying on something and you can hear your heartbeat in it, because of like in those moments, it gives me kind of a reassessment of like, how many beats did it take me to get to this point I'm at now? And like, how much do I have that same amount of time left? How do I make use of that? That's always been something that's kind of...
That's a metronome for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Can you imagine if you were told how many beats you got? Oh, you get 1 trillion beats in your life. You know what I'm saying? You get 1 billion, you get 1 million, you get 1,000 beats. If you knew that, would you live your life a little differently?
For sure.
Yeah, that's serious.
I would definitely say mental health, but more specifically, like the aspect and idea of placebo.
Oh, wow.
How strong our mind and our spirit has dominion over our physical health, but not only physical health. Like placebo is, is just a term thrown on there, but that's also a law of attraction. That's, your mentality could bring in these blessings, or it could bring in these ailments physically or externally. So just the idea and concept of placebo is just fascinating to me, because it's always a testament to how much more powerful we are over over these other let's say like variables that, diet, placebo trumps all. Like so it's just about a lot of what Jaylen said. The faith, consistency, hard work pays off. But your mentality, your breathing, how in tune you are with your mind, and how far that could go in remedying situations.
Psychosomatic. It's all in the mind. We got control of ourselves. Yeah, placebo. I like that.
This is a tough one for me, but I got to go last, so I thought about it. I think for me, genetics, like just on a surface level, you ever see, like you meet a person, then you meet their parents, and you be like, yo, like you a 50-50 split. Or
Right.
your brother look just like them and they look just like that. But then even deeper than that, as far as like the loops that like how you, like we talked about legacy, is certain obstacles that might be exactly like not only your father faced, but your grandfather, great-great-grandfather. So I think just like how the rabbit hole of genetics and how much we both are programmed and reprogrammed genetics, that's like always bugs me out. Always. That's like a lot.
How the cards are shuffled, what hand you get dealt. You know
and then you have 2 parents. So it's like you might, like your brother might get all your mom's stuff physically, but then all your dad's stuff as far as they path, and it might be vice versa for you. That's like wild to me.
And then what's even wilder is you can take all that and change it if you want to, and make your own. You know what I mean? And then
your kids
your
got a totally
child,
different flip.
same thing. Yeah. That's good. Like I like that. You sticking with it. Okay. We're gonna leave that alone. All right. Okay. All right. So closing remarks, y'all. What y'all got to say to them?
Remain open-minded in everything in life. Like don't I was talking about programming, don't over-program yourself. Like stay open. That's the only way you can grow. But also set boundaries too at the same time. Know thy limit at the same time. That's it.
I say approach every day with the intention of making it better than the day before. Be better than you were yesterday. Because if you fall short, then you might have you know what you got to do tomorrow. And if you hit the mark, If you have a great day, that means you're about to challenge yourself for the day after. So, but regardless of the outcome, if you approach it the same every day, you're only going to get better.
Last thing I want to say is just actualize whatever thoughts you have, whatever you've put on the shelf for years that you've been scared to put forward to the world. Just actualize it, create it, and grow from there. Just do it. You know, tomorrow's not promised. Stop being scared. If people don't believe in you, make them believe in you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, just actualize.
I would say that this is the generation. I would like to issue a challenge. I challenge us, as this generation to continue to spread love and light, but create the solutions to the problems that have been created before us, and just come together and be the generation that sparks what the next 20 to 100 years to 1,000 years may look like. So I challenge us to be the generation that makes the difference.
Couldn't ask for nothing better. I appreciate y'all for spending time with me and sharing with the people. Yes. You already know, brother. All right then, man. Next time.
Next time.
Love.
Appreciate you.